Hello, everybody. My name is the Doctor. Well, that's my alias anyway. And I mainly do gameplay, let's play videos on YouTube. I'm going to break away from that for a short second and do something a little bit different. And I may do more of these videos in the future. But I feel compelled to put my opinion out there amongst the vast opinions that are out there on this current subject. First of all, I apologize. I do not have a webcam, so you will not see my face during this. I'll make it as short as I can of a video. So instead, this is my character in a game called Star Trek Online, and this way I can record my audio and just have something to look at instead of a blank screen. Maybe in the future one day I will get a webcam to do this type of video. Anyway, I digress. This is going to be a video on my opinion of the new Batman vs. Superman movie that is currently out in theaters. While I play games, and I love games, and I do let's play videos on games, I am also a huge fan of movie and TV, and specifically DC Comics. Just a little bit of background. I am not a big fan of Marvel. Now, I, like most people, watch their movies for entertainment, but I have not read a Marvel comic, nor have I ever been a huge fan of Marvel. And the reason why I'm saying this is because what I'm about to say about the Batman vs. Superman movie will carry a little more weight given the fact that I am a DC fanboy. I like the DC franchise. That is me. I like all the movies, all the TV shows that are on, the comics. That is my universe. That is my heart. That is where I feel at home. So, the words I will be saying carry a little more weight given the fact that I am a DC fanboy. This review I'm about to give you is a spoilery review, or my opinion review, of Batman vs. Superman. So, this will contain spoilers about the movie. This is your chance right now to back out and end this video if you do not want to be spoiled about this movie. That is your only warning you're getting, and the rest is on you if you didn't want to hear spoilers. Alright, so let me just give a little bit of background first about this movie and the hype generated about this movie. I, like most people, watched the trailers leading up to this movie. When I first heard about it, I was like, oh yeah, this is the movie we've been waiting for. And not only us, not only fans, but I mean in media in general, this is something that people have been wanting to see on the movie screen for a very long time. I mean, think about that movie with Will Smith, and I'm now drawing a complete blank, but you know what movie I'm talking about, the zombie one with Will Smith that I'm just drawing a blank on right now. That very famous, because it took place in the future, that movie, that very famous scene where it shows Batman vs. Superman poster. I mean, this is a movie that even before it was announced. You know what I'm saying? People knew that eventually one day this might happen, or hoping it would happen, and it did. So there's hype there. There's a lot of hype. Now, I, like most people, watch the trailers. All the trailers leading up to the film, simply because I was interested. I wanted to know about it. I wanted to see it. I was hyped about it. Now, the trailers, there were a lot of them along the way, and that is actually one of my problems with the movie, is I believe so much was revealed in the trailers, maybe a little too much was revealed in the trailers. Now, it is on me for watching the trailers in the first place, and like any movie, I typically do watch the trailers, but with most movies, they don't give away so many of the things inside the movie that make it, spoiler it too bad. This one, however, I think it did. So basically, the trailers, told us a lot about the movie before we even watched it. In fact, it even revealed who the big bad is, beyond Superman and Batman, that it was Doomsday. I think they should have saved that. See, basically, when I watch a trailer, I think that, it's okay to watch the trailer because there's still going to be some meat left in the movie that's going to surprise me, where I don't need to worry about that the movie's still going to be epic. Like, if something is given away in a trailer, there's still going to be enough left in the movie that it'll still be epic, and I don't have to worry about those things that are revealed in the trailer. Well, I was wrong about that in this movie, because you see, a lot of the main plot points and humor were given away in the trailers. They let out Doomsday. They showed Doomsday, the big thing. If they had left that a complete surprise in the movie, I think that would have been more powerful. Number two, they gave away all the one-liners. All the good, humorous one-liners, or most of them, were given away in the trailers. After hearing them in the movie and watching it in the movie, I almost cringed. I was like, that was in the trailer. It's not so funny now. I giggled, but it wasn't that funny because it wasn't a surprise to me. The only line that really got me in the movie that we didn't see in the trailers was the one where Batman saved Martha, and then Martha says, "Oh, you must know my son, it's the cape." You know that line. That's the only humorous new line in the movie that I found humorous and a surprise. Every other line was in the trailer. So yes, it's on me that I watch the trailers, but I think a lot of people watch the trailers, and I think they could have held back more. The Star Wars trailers are a good example. The recent Star Wars movie is a good example of holding back important information. They gave away just enough to entice the movie, showing the Millennium Falcon, and just enough to entice you to want to watch it, but they didn't give away a lot of the important parts like they did in this one. So I think that the hype built into this movie from the beginning was huge, right? There's just huge cloud of hype going into the movie to begin with. So you have to kind of keep that in mind and think about that. So here's my overall general thought walking out of this movie. I felt, personally, that the movie did not live up to the hype. Yes, there's a lot of hype there, I agree, that's what I just said. But I don't think the movie lived up to that hype. I think it was somewhere below that. So I think maybe it's partly the fans' fault, maybe our fault for hyping it too much, maybe the trailer's fault. There's been so many parodies and so many YouTube videos going in depth, tearing apart or ripping apart and examining the trailers, and so much talk about it, and so much wanting to find out, all the spoilers about it before even watching the movie, that there's just been so much about it that it's built up so much hype that it never could live up to that hype. So it doesn't. And that kind of is a letdown, because you're really hyped going into it, and then you're kind of let down walking out of it. Now, for me, there are several reasons why I think the movie failed in some parts and succeeded in other parts. Don't get me wrong, I believe this movie was entertaining and was a good movie to watch. It was a good Friday night's evening watching a movie. But it's not the best movie I've ever seen, and I think it could have been. I think it could have been that epic movie of the year. I don't think it's going to be that epic movie of the year. Heck, I think Suicide Squad may actually end up being better than this movie. And that's saying something, so we'll see. But here's my main problems with this movie. Maybe you'll agree with me, maybe you'll disagree with me. If you do or don't, either way is okay Feel free to comment either way. Remember, everybody's opinion is accepted and fine. There are no right or wrong answers here. Everybody's going to view everything differently. You remember, you do not have to, correct somebody on their opinion. Their opinion is their opinion. So I'm going to give you my opinion. Some will agree with me, and some will disagree with me. This is fine. My primary problem with this movie is going to be the pacing. The pacing in this movie is way off. It is a long movie, 2.5 hours. Now, that can be okay if there's enough content or meat to a movie to make it entertaining for 2.5 hours. There wasn't in this movie. It should not have been a 2.5 hour movie with the content they showed us. They could have taken off 30 minutes of this movie and made it better, tightened up the pacing. That's really what it needed. The pacing was way off, and what I mean by that is the first half of the movie is very long, drawn out, a ton of exposition, just a ton of exposition, and a ton of building up the storyline. I went into this movie thinking, all right, we're going to see Batman and Superman together, we're going to see them talking. That don't even happen till later in the movie, when they have that first meeting at Lex's place. That don't even happen till later then. There's just so much build up about the characters and about all the characters they're focusing on, and we'll talk about that because I think they're focusing on too many at once. But there's so much build up and so much exposition that the first half of the movie is almost boring. You sit there and you're like, you're waiting for them to get to it. You're anxious. You're sitting in your chair thinking, all right, I'm ready for Superman and Batman to fight already. Let's get to it. Let's get this story moving. So there's so much buildup that you just get a little bored in your seat. You start fidgeting. You start thinking to yourself, I need to go to the bathroom. Once you start doing stuff like that, you're taken out of the movie. Your experience is taken out of that movie. And that happened to me during the first half of the movie. I was sitting there and I just kind of got bored. I leaned sideways in my chair and I was just like, started thinking about other things. That's not a good thing in a movie. You don't want to start thinking about other things in a movie. So the pacing was way off. They could have tightened it up, shortened it, lessened the exposition, and get to the point of it. So I think that was one mistake. The second mistake, I think, is in the editing. The transitions between scenes is very jarring, and you oftentimes don't know where you are in time or what's going on in a scene. By the time it jumps to another scene, you're halfway in the next scene, and you don't know what time period it is in, if it's in the past, present, or even a dream sequence. And you don't know, what's going on. The transitions were just really, really jarring. Now, Zack Snyder is known for that. It is a style of movie making. He did it in Man of Steel, but in Man of Steel, I feel it was handled better. And that leads me into the next reason why I think it was handled better is because in this movie versus Man of Steel, this movie did not have a main character that you were following the entire time or that you could get behind the entire time. When you watched Man of Steel, the main character was always Superman. You were following him, even though in the beginning you were following his father, for that part of the movie. But still, once he got to Earth and everything, you were following Superman. He was the main character you could get behind in the movie, and you had that one character. That was the main character. In this one, you don't have a main character. You've got Batman, you got Superman, but they're not giving you like a feeling or a choice of a character to get behind, to team up with. I hate to make this comparison. Y'all are going to kill me for this, but I have to make this comparison because it's very apt to this. But I'm going to go back to Twilight. Yes, I know. Kill me now. All right, but Twilight, the movies Twilight, they had this big thing during one of the movies, because I remember it very vividly, about people on the internet, and in the movie theater and everywhere else, teaming up. You had Team Edward and Team Jacob. That was, and kill me now for even knowing that, but anyway, you know what I mean. They had, people were on a team. They were either for Edward or for Jacob, right? And they were very, very, into that. That was like huge. That was a huge thing, a very big thing. Well, that's what they needed to do with Batman versus Superman. There should have been a Team Batman and a Team Superman. You should have been behind a character. They should have developed it, the movie, somehow, some way, so that as it progressed, you start developing your main character for yourself as you're watching it. Either you're on Batman's side or you're on Superman's side. They should have built up Batman's side a little better. His reasoning and all that was pretty good, but they should have made it compelling why you would want to back Superman or back Batman. And then they should have built up Superman's side better. They should have, he should have stated, it's almost like going to trial and stating your two different opinions or whatever, and then, you're the judge and you decide which one you want to get behind or something like that. They needed to build up their cases better at the beginning part of the film, where it was boring, that first half that they spent there. They could have spent that building up each character so that for the first hour of the movie, you in your own mind as you're watching it are deciding, am I behind Batman or am I behind Superman on this? Who am I going to get behind? Who am I going to root for? When they start fighting, who am I going to root for? Who's the guy? Who's my guy? They should have developed that during the first hour of the movie. If they had done that and created a team scenario where you can create a main character that you want to get behind, that would have made the movie, you would have been involved in that movie. You would be part of that movie. You would be invested in that movie. And that would bring the emotion and the connection to the movie. This movie was lacking connection. Man of Steel had connection because you were behind Superman. That was the main character. This one, there's nobody to get behind. There's no connection to the movie. That lack of connection removes you from the movie. And that is what I felt when I watched it. I felt removed from the movie. No connection. I wasn't behind either one of them. I felt that their reason for fighting was contrived and forced. Superman could have totally stopped that battle. He threw the first punch, by the way. I mean, he pushed Batman away very quickly. There was no need for that. He could have stopped right there and just said, look, they've got my mother. Lex Luthor's holding my mother. We need to go save her. He could have just said that really quickly before the battle even started, and there would have been no battle. It was contrived and forced. It was a forced battle that didn't really need to happen. There was opportunity to stop it from happening. So I have a problem with that too. Another problem I have is that there's too many characters, okay? With Man of Steel, you had the main character you were behind, Superman, and then, of course, you followed Lois a little bit, and maybe, and then Zod, of course, and whatever was going on there. But they didn't jump between all of those a lot. They mainly focused on Superman. Well, in this movie, what they're trying to do during the first half of the movie is they're following so many different characters. They're following Lois Lane, they're following the Senator, they're following Lex, they're following Batman, they're following Superman, and they're trying to show their past, their present, and their dream sequences all at the same time. So what ends up happening is you've got so many characters they're trying to follow throughout time and make jump cuts to different scenes for that character and exposition that it just becomes so combobulated. There's just too much on the screen to follow, and you become, wondering what the heck is going on. Can somebody please explain to me why Clark was on a mountain talking to his ghost father? I mean, where was that? All of a sudden he's on a mountain wearing a coat that he doesn't need with a pile of rocks talking to his ghost father. I don't know what time period in the movie that was. I don't know if that was a dream sequence. I don't know if it was real. I don't know what the pile of rocks was. I don't know why he's wearing a coat. I don't know anything about any of that. That scene made no sense to me. They could have cut that out and that would have been fine. It was cool seeing Kevin Costner again, but I mean, honestly, they could have cut that out. So I feel that there were some mistakes, made along those lines, and that affected the storytelling. Let's see, what else did I not like? I don't like the resolution between Batman and Superman. I think it happened too quickly. I think that Batman heard his mother's name, Martha, and then is like, okay, let's be buddy buddy. It happened too quickly. It happened too fast. It didn't make a lot of sense. I mean, okay, he realizes Superman had a mother on Earth, and all of a sudden they're buddy buddy. Too much, too fast. They should have built up that relationship more. Because let's think about this here. These guys are the founding members of the Justice League. I almost said founding members of the Federation. Totally different series. They are the founding members of the Justice League. They're coming together. They're realizing that they need to work together is the foundation of the Justice League. The whole basis of the Justice League is realizing they all need to work together for the greater good, right? That's where they need. That's how they needed to come together. What should have happened, in my opinion, is that there should have been a bigger threat out there. Let's say Darkseid. I think we know he's coming. It seems like they're alluding to the fact that Darkseid is coming. Let that be the big bad that they get a vision on, and then let them come together over that. I also think this is where Wonder Woman could have stepped in as a better role. I had heard rumor during, before the movie came out, that Wonder Woman would be the mediator between Batman and Superman, that somehow, because she's, been working with humans or man for so long, that she would be able to mediate, because she even said she's fought people from other worlds before. So she's got a lot of experience over time. So I was hoping that she would be the mediator between Batman and Superman. That would have given her a very powerful role, and a very, very powerful role in the foundation of the Justice League as well. She should have been the mediator between them. She should have had a long talk with Batman and a long talk with Superman and been like, look guys, you need to come together. There's a bigger bad out there. There's a lot of bad out there. Bad you don't even know about. And you guys need to work together. A team. We're going to need each other. That should have been Wonder Woman mediating between them, saying, you guys got to stop fighting. This fight's got to end. You two have to come together and have to resolve these issues, and work it out. She should have been the mediator between them that brings their relationship together. That would have made all three of them the very powerful foundation and meaning of what the Justice League is. That's how it should have started right there. They missed that opportunity. It could have been very powerful. Wonder Woman could have had a better role. All Wonder Woman did is look pretty and fight Doomsday in this movie. That's it. And she could have had a more powerful role. She could have had that mediator role between them. And I think the movie would have been stronger for it. And I think Wonder Woman would have been stronger for it. And I think ultimately the Justice League would be stronger for it. They would have a bond. They would have a friendship that could not be broken. They would have something meaningful. Right now, they're basically just friends because Batman got sympathetic when he heard his mom's name. I mean, that's it. I don't think that's a strong enough bond. I mean, it's just not. So I think there's potential there that was wasted, that could have been an epic story, and it wasn't. But that's my opinion. You guys let me know what you think about that. But I would have liked to have seen that version. I would have liked to have seen that. I would like to have seen them fighting sooner in the movie and having this epic battle that just keeps going on and on and on, and then Wonder Woman coming in and stopping both of them. Wouldn't you have loved to have seen Wonder Woman? I know the main battles between Batman and Superman, but wouldn't you have loved to have seen Wonder Woman stop Batman in his tracks, just hold him with a lasso and just stop him, and then the same to Superman? What if she lassoed Superman, and held him and be like, guys, shut up and stop fighting? Wouldn't you have loved to seen her between Batman and Superman with a lasso? I mean, come on. She should have been the one that stopped them fighting. and then like here comes Doomsday, and then they all got to fight Doomsday. That's what should have happened, guys. That would have been totally epic. You've got to admit that. I'm getting very emotional about this, but that is how it should have been. Would have been epic storytelling. It would have been an epic thing to see. It would make the founding of the Justice League a little bit better. And let's talk about the Justice League a bit. They showed obviously Wonder Woman. Then they showed Aquaman, Cyborg, and the Flash. I don't think they should have done that. I think they should have saved those three for the Justice League movie. We know there's going to be one. I think the way that they showed them was forced. It was just put in there. It was a haphazard kind of scene where Wonder Woman's watching these videos and she sees them. Nah, that should not have been there. Instead, they should have either left it out completely and left the story to just be focused on Batman versus Superman and then with Wonder Woman in the middle. Or they should have taken that scene and used it as an end post-credit special scene at the end of movies. This movie lacks any kind of credit end scene or post thing to make you excited about the next one. It lacks anything like that. Marvel usually has something at the end. DC, I don't know why, but they don't usually have anything at the end of movies. That was another letdown. What they should have done is taken that scene, put it at the very end of the post-credits after all the credits roll, and then you see that scene where Wonder Woman's going through these videos and she sees those three videos. That would have been epic. Fans would be talking about it until the next movie comes out. It would build up the hype for the next movie. That's the way they should have done that. The way it's placed in the movie now is haphazard and just forced. And so I just believe they either should have left it out completely or put it at the end of the movie like that. An editing choice that could have really changed the movie for the better, I think. So, yeah, the editor needs some work. The editor of this movie. Let's see. I do have a question about who the person was who was giving Batman the message in that white vortex thing. My theory is that it was the Flash using the Speed Force to go back in time, but it didn't look like the Flash's costume or outfit. I was looking really closely at his mask, and I couldn't tell what it was. Couldn't tell. I mean, my instinct says Flash because he can time travel like that, but I don't know. I don't know who that was. So that'll be interesting to find out. What I did like about this movie, there's a lot of good things I did like about this movie, so let's talk about them. The big elephant in the room, Lex Luthor. Let's talk about him for a second. I like Lex Luthor. I like this version of Lex Luthor. Now, a lot of people are saying that they don't like this insane Lex Luthor. I do. First of all, let's talk about his career choice. He runs a tech company and has made billions of dollars with a tech company. I think that's very modern. I think that makes sense in our day and age. I mean, let's look at like Google. I think of this Lex like the owner of Google. They've made a lot of money. That's how they've done it, is through tech, and that's how you would do it in today's world. So I think that makes a lot of sense. Makes perfect sense. It's exactly the route they would go. He's the Google. He's Apple. He's whatever you want him to be. Microsoft. He is that big corporation, that big tech corporation that has a hold on the marketplace. That's who he is. That's what he is. That's awesome. I think that makes sense. Number two, he's a little insane. I think that makes him scary. Some people are saying out there that he's not a scary Lex. I disagree. Look what he did to the senator. She crossed him. He put what I think is pee in a jar on her podium, and then blew them all up to chunks. That's kind of scary. You don't want to cross this Lex. This Lex will really kill you in a snap, and he'll have a snap. He'll snap and kill you. So I think this Lex is scary. I think he's very scary. I'm scared of him. I wouldn't want to cross him. All I want to do is make this Lex happy. If you don't make this Lex happy, you won't be happy. So I like this Lex. And I think he'll seem a little more like Lex to a lot of people now that he's bald. Like in the next movie or whatever. He'll be bald, so he'll seem a little more Lex-like. I think also just the fact that he's younger, that's rubbing off on people the wrong way a little bit. But I mean, you have to, that's fine. There are, young people out there who are who have made huge corporations or tech giants out there, and young people. I mean, take Mark Zuckerberg for example. It's realistic, so I don't see anything wrong with that. So I like this Lex. The part, I think my favorite scene in the movie is when Lex and Superman are talking on top of his tower, his helicopter tower, and he's telling him that he's kidnapped his mother, and then he starts throwing the pictures at Superman, just throwing those pictures at Superman. The look on Superman's face, the anger there, the way that is that his name? Jesse Eisenberg gave off that performance. It was an emotional and incredible scene. I loved that scene. And that, for me, right there, is where the movie started. That's where the movie got interesting for me. From then on, I was engaged in that movie 100%. What else did I like? I like the use of kryptonite in this movie. Batman used it well, turned it into a gas, shot it at Superman. He breathed it in, it made him weaker, and he was able to wail on him. Great use of kryptonite. A kryptonite spear, perfect. The only thing I wish to have seen would have been like kryptonite cufflinks or something like that, or kryptonite in his gauntlet. In the comics, Lex has kryptonite in his cufflinks, I think. So something like that I would like to see. But otherwise, great use of kryptonite. I think they could have explained just a little bit better how that kryptonite got to the Indian Ocean. Was that from the world engine that was there? Was the world engine in the last movie in the Indian Ocean? Because I forget. But I think just a simple line to explain that, how or why there was kryptonite in the Indian Ocean. I think that could have been there, because all of a sudden they just find this kryptonite in the ocean over there, and I'm like, where did that come from? I guess it could have been the world engine that was trying to terraform the planet, but I don't know for sure. What else? I liked the fact that they went all out. I mean, I know what I liked a lot. I liked a lot when Superman started fighting Doomsday. He did the most obvious thing that people say that a Superman would do, or Superman should do: take the enemy into space. Space is a weakness for a lot of beings. It's not for Superman, but for a lot of beings. If you want to try to take them out, just fly straight up into space, and Superman can do that. So I liked the fact that after he threw some punches and stuff, his first action was literally to just fly him straight into space and try to it looked like he was trying to punch him away from Earth, push him out and punch him away into the vastness of space. That is an incredibly awesome tactic. That is a perfect tactic, and I really enjoyed that Superman did that. That was smart thinking, and you don't see that enough on TV, on the TV shows. But that is smart thinking, straight up into space. And then they launched a nuke at him, and it did some damage to Superman. I liked that. And then the sun healed him. I think all of that was great. Great visual effects, too. I mean, perfect. Man, Superman looking like a corpse in space was really creepy. I mean, that was really creepy, but I liked the way that looked. Visually, it looked really neat. I also liked Doomsday. I don't like how he was created. I don't understand why Lex's blood was needed to create Doomsday. I don't get that blood part. I don't also know how that affects Doomsday or what that does to him or his powers. I mean, Lex is just a human, so I don't know why that was needed or how that affected him. But I did like the fact that they kept true to the comics, and that you destroy or hurt Doomsday and he comes back stronger and stronger and stronger. Perfect, right out of the comics. So that's why Doomsday is hard to kill. And also Doomsday is the only one that's killed Superman, and they went that route in this movie. So great use of Doomsday. Great battle scene with Doomsday. Really showed how powerful Wonder Woman is as well. She did some pretty high jumps, some pretty good sword stuff. She used her lasso on him. And I thought Doomsday was going to break the lasso, but it did not break. If you notice, it did not break. So very powerful lasso of truth. Supposed to put it around people and they tell you the truth, or they can't lie or something. What else? I wonder if this Wonder Woman can fly or not. Sometimes she can fly, sometimes she can't fly. I mean, they change her powers every now and then. It just depends what origin story they're going to go with. I mean, sometimes it's the apparel she's wearing that's blessed by the gods, like the feet of Mercury and the wings of whatever, or Ares, or no, Ares is war, or whatever, you know what I mean. Sometimes it's the fact that she's like born of a clay doll or something and is like a god herself in a way. I don't know. It depends what they go with in the origin movie. We'll see. I am looking forward to her origin movie. It should be really good. I cannot wait for it. And maybe it might even be better than this movie. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm highly looking forward to her movie. I think it's going to be excellent. What else? I enjoyed the fight scene. It was great. I enjoyed Batman. Batman was Affleck. I call him Affleck. Affleck was good in this movie as Batman. He is Batman. No question about it. He pulled off a good Batman. I'm happy with his Batman. I like his Batman better than Bale. I just do. Affleck for me is Batman now. I'm sold. I'm in 100%. Affleck is Batman. So I enjoyed that. Otherwise, it was an entertaining movie. Now, I will just say this. I had planned to see the movie a couple of times. This is kind of how I value if a movie is like really, really, really good or not. And it depends how many times I want to see it in the theater. This movie, before it came out, I was planning to see it in the theater a few times. I was going to see it in IMAX, and I was going to see it in the regular theater. Well, after watching it tonight, I don't really want to watch it again. That's not good. The rewatch value on it for me is not very high. I would just be bored for the first hour again until the good stuff starts. It's not worth me rewatching it. I'll probably get the Blu-ray and watch it at home when it's out on video. And that'll probably be the next time I watch it. But I've seen it in the theater, and once is enough for me after watching this. But that's not what I had planned previously. Previously, I was going to see it multiple times because I thought this would be a movie where I would want to see it multiple times. But after watching it once in the theater, I don't want to watch it multiple times. It's not worth the money to me to see it multiple times in the theater. So that, my opinion changed after seeing it. That's not a good thing, guys. I think the movie will make a lot of money. It's going to make a lot of money off the hype. It's going to make a lot of money off the people who haven't read reviews or spoilers and are going to see it for the first time. And everybody's going to see this movie. So it's going to make a lot of money. But I think where it might fail is in the rewatchability and the value of rewatching the movie afterwards. You know, people that would go and see a movie 2 or 3 times afterwards. It's not going to have that. It's not going to hold up over time, I think. That's sad because I wanted it to. And I was hoping it would, but I don't think it will. In comparison, I'll tell you the first rebooted J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie that came out in 2009, was it? That movie I watched at least seven times. I watched it when it came out in the theater. I watched it. I went to the theater every night for a week, continuously, and watched it contiguously, and watched it. Yeah, I did. I watched it. I probably total of 10 times in the theater. So, you see, that movie had rewatchability. I rewatched it, and it was good each time I watched it, to me at least. But this movie, I don't get that about. I don't want to rewatch it again. I'll just wait for it to come out on video again and get it on Blu-ray, and then watch it again on my own. Don't really want to spend the money for a theater ticket. So that is a shame, and I think that may be true for a lot of people. And that may ultimately hurt sales of the movie. And that hurts me because I want it to succeed. Remember, this movie is the groundwork for the Justice League movies and all the DC movies moving forward. This was supposed to be the movie they all spring from. This was supposed to be the movie that makes you want to watch all the future DC movies coming out. This is the movie that the Justice League is going to spring from. This is it. And I think it could have been better. It's entertaining. It's a good waste of the evening. But ultimately, it could have been better. And I think many will agree that it's not the epic movie they thought it would be. It's a good movie, but it's not the epic movie they thought it would be. I think many of us can at least agree on that. But there are more DC movies to come, and I look forward to them. Suicide Squad is the next one. Highly looking forward to that. I think next year is the Wonder Woman movie, 2017. I think. And then, of course, there will be a Justice League movie in the future. Maybe is that 2018? I don't know what year, but that will be coming. So there are going to be more DC movies, and I look forward to watching them. They may even be better than this one was. I just hope that they listen to all the criticisms in this movie and make the Justice League movie, better. Improve upon it. It doesn't seem like they improved upon anything from Man of Steel. But maybe if they'll listen, they can improve upon things from this movie to the next one. Well, that's my opinion. This video ran a bit longer than I was anticipating or hoping. So for everybody who has stayed around this long to listen to my rambling, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Feel free to drop your comments in down there and let me know what you think of the movie. And if you want to see more of this kind of review video from me on things like movies or TV shows or whatever, I watch all the DC movies. I watch Supergirl on TV shows. I watch Supergirl on Monday, Flash on Tuesday, Arrow on Wednesday, Legends of Tomorrow on Thursday. I'm into all that stuff. So if you guys want to see more of this type of video, let me know if that's a thing too. I'll have to get a webcam, do a proper review video, which I may have to start up on another channel if I end up doing something like that, because I don't think I would want it all on my gaming channel. But for right now, I'm going to put this on my gaming channel. If I end up moving it to another channel in the future, I may do that. But for right now, I'm going to leave this here, and you guys can watch it, you can listen, you can post your opinion. You can like it, you can dislike it, you can hate me, you can love me, do whatever you want. It don't matter. Thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.